Just, your stamina just ran out of you.
Josh passed out.
No, I won't stop the way that I keep to deliver.
SJ,
I'ma make these haters reconsider.
BBC.
I kick back,
Oh
stay
yeah,
high up for life.
oh yeah.
And now I won't stop.
I won't stop, I can't stop, even if I try. I won't stop, I can't stop, even if I try. I won't stop, I can't stop, even if I try. Even if I try.
Hello. Welcome back, y'all, to Y'all Boys Talkin, a podcast about nonsensical improvement, where each week we talk about not only bettering ourselves, but how we can help you better yourself by hearing us better ourselves. My name is Joshua Jean Baptiste.
Frank Hernandez.
Maximo Santana.
Steve Della Valentina.
And we are Y'all Boys. How y'all boys doing this week? How was y'all week?
I mean, it's a pretty solid week, though. I am a little nervous because we record this about a week and a half before we actually release it. That this will be released into a world past Michael Jackson.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Hey,
There's
that documentary is coming for that ass, dog.
4 hours, and like the reviews from Sundance were just like people needed to people just couldn't handle it. Like it was just like it was too much. Like your idols are dying slowly but surely, and this is just one that this is a big one. It's a big one, guys.
Hey, yo, to the listeners and to ourselves, next week, things were really good this week, man.
Yeah.
We hope everything is okay.
Yeah, they took down R. Kelly. We're making progress. And for all we know, by next week, we're going to find out that the whole Michael Jackson thing was just another mastermind by Jesse Smollett.
Oh, God, no.
That'd be a classic Smollett right there.
The 20-year plan. Long con.
Yo,
It could all be him now. I'm so confused.
Yo, can you imagine? This all
Every
was some sort
evil
of
plan.
mastermind plan. It all was fake.
but it's not even just his plan. It's all a marketing scheme for Empire.
Oh, my God.
Just trying to get you
I
into that
know.
season finale.
Yeah, they're trying to bring us into the drama.
And then they just
Events
use
in
the
real
footage
life.
and outrage on their episodes.
Yeah. Yo, allegedly he did it because he was dissatisfied with his salary. So he's bringing Empire into real life so he can get paid a lot more, I'm assuming.
Oh,
I don't know,
well-
man. Jesse, just call it quits, man.
No, but he fucked it up on so many levels. There's like one bit where apparently like he took the police back to the spot where he was beat up, and the camera was pointed in the wrong direction to where the incident occurred. So there's no actual footage of it.
Right.
So whatever happened, he just doesn't have any sort of like. It's just bad.
No
It's just
evidence.
bad.
Yo, I think Jesse Smollett is a perfect example of a concept that we don't want to abide by. STTB.
Straight to the bottom.
Straight to the bottom. Yo, first STTB
Down.
award goes to Jesse Smollett
Jesse Smollett.
for going straight to the bottom. On the opposite of STTB, STTT is alive and kicking.
STTT of the week.
For our first segment, we have STTT of the week, which is someone, something, or an organization of somewhat that has done something inspiring and that has ascended to the top. Frank has got our STTT of the week. Who we got, Frank?
So this week, we got a comedy group from the Bronx made up of Jesus Nice and the Kid Mero, a.k.a. Jesus and Mero, who are from Dominican descent, Jamaican descent, and two brothers who have taken their personal brand, or the brand as they call it, and taken it to the top. They started off on Twitter just being hilarious, and then Complex saw their chemistry. They put them together to start a really popular podcast. And then Vice saw it, and then Viceland gave them a show, which became immensely popular, up until the point where they made it to Showtime.
Yo.
And now Showtime is paying money
Time.
for...
That is the top network television right there. Or premium.
I mean...
premium television.
Premium subscription based in your house.
There are monthly reoccurring bills that is allowing people to watch them.
to see Jesus and Mero.
Right, and they always been just these two dudes from New York that could be outside of any bodega just like talking shit. And it's just so
Formerly known as the Bodega Boys.
authentic. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and I think that name is super apt and just accurate for what they do and what their brand is all about. And it's always been that as well. Even once they left the bodega and they're on a podcast, they're on Twitter, they're on Vice, they're on Showtime. It's the same kind of format. And it's just, to me, I just consider it extremely authentic. And of course, they had AOC on the first episode
BX,
to just
BX.
prove they're at the top of their game and that people are really just hungry for their content.
Yo, if that is not a perfect example of how integrity is key, then I don't know what is, dog.
Shout out to integrity.
Yeah, big shout outs to integrity.
Yo, for real.
Shout out to maintaining your values. Yeah.
Yo, if you woke up today and maintained your values, shout out to you, dog.
Yo, you did it.
Yeah.
Yo, on that note, shout out to them and shout out to integrity. We're going to take a quick break and get into the juice of our own journeys. Here's a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
It's 2:30 a.m. Today, Julie went to the zoo. Kyle got his bread. And Dante Jr. laughed at his own burp. Now you know. You tap, you scroll. It's 10 a.m. Today, a senator apologized for a racially charged statement. A celebrity gets a DUI. And a cat falls into a shoe. Now you know. You tap, you scroll. Tapping and scrolling in bed affects us all in different ways. If you're doing too much scrolling in bed, think before you scroll. Social media apps are designed to keep you hooked. Remember, you can always log out, delete the app, or delete your account if necessary. Control your social media before it controls you.
And we are back. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Now it's time for the meat and potatoes of our episode, our challenge checkup. Maximo Santana came up with a wonderful idea of giving each other New Year's challenges. And on a weekly basis, we'll be checking up how we are failing or successing into achieving those goals.
Frank, why don't you set the stage?
So yeah, we've decided to add some stakes to it. Our reunion's coming up in June, which will be our 10-year high school reunion. And we'll have to complete all 12 challenges, 3 each. If we lose, the people who lose have to go up to the entire alumni class and read a pre-written speech about their failures and explicitly how they failed themselves and everyone else by not completing those challenges.
But if we win, we get to roll up to our high school reunion in a motherfucking Lambo. Blasting Lamb Talk.
Lamb Talk.
Migos. And assorted Migos tracks, right? Like, I imagine our entrance is going to take 10 to 20 minutes. And we're going to need a number of tracks.
I don't think we're going to show up at the reunion at that point. I think our reunion is being in that Lambo, blasting Lamb Talk.
Yeah, honestly, we might as well just leave like right after that.
Right.
It's just like, all right, we did it.
We're going to have to take a few turns to go in and out of the Lambo as well.
We could keep re-entering so people keep
Oh, yeah.
seeing
For the people that missed it the first time, we'll just come back.
I'm 100% down for that. It's going to be a very expensive rental, so I want to get the most out of that.
Hell yes.
Let's get to it. What you got for us, Frank?
All right. So for my challenges this week, I have 3 of them. Josh asked me to maintain a consistent meditation regimen. Steve asked me to try the No S diet, which is no snacks, no sweets, no seconds, for 4 weeks. Max asked me to speak up more at work concerning social issues. So this week, as far as my consistent meditation regimen, I'm killing it. Much like last week, I've been on point.
7 out of 7?
What was your score? What was your score this week?
7 out of 7 every single day.
Nice.
Every single day. I woke up first. Well, I'm not gonna lie and say the first thing I did was meditate. Every day I woke up. First thing is I went on my phone, checked Twitter, see what's going on Twitter. Then after about 5 or so minutes of doing nonsense on Twitter, I roll my ass out of bed. I sit on my meditation pillow and I give myself 10 minutes to the universe. And
Nice.
it's been good.
Have you noticed any difference in your psyche?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting like the superhero benefits that I was expecting out of getting the meditation, because a lot of meditation is quieting your mind. And sometimes I feel like I've actually quieted my mind, but most of the time I feel like I'm sitting quietly, listening to rainfall in my app.
From what I hear, though, those kind of benefits take a while to develop because it's really restructuring your brain, the actual like gray matter and all that kind of stuff, and just after years, years and years of practice, it'll be really profound. But you probably find more immediate benefits that are just a bit milder, like feeling calm at the time.
Yeah, and you're like 14 for 14 now, right? 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, so I think you're gonna unlock some more benefits as you keep getting, from 14 to 21 to.
Isn't it like a progress tree on like video games where like you get enough experience points and then like you get to unlock another ability?
Word. I'm just hoping I get like the level 4 ability where I'm just like under a waterfall and then just like shit's hitting me, but I'm just like super zen. Like,
Yeah,
that's
how many
peak
weeks do you have to
meditation.
meditate before you can levitate? Is my question.
My second challenge is try the no S diet for 4 weeks. I actually kept track this week, and I did it 6 out of 7 days.
Whoa.
6 out of 7 days. I did not snack, even though I was at the new offices, which I'll talk about later. I ate mostly fruits. I had regular diets. I didn't eat fast food until the last date. And when the last day came, which was Friday night, I came home from work and I was just like, you know what? I deserve this. And I ate so much shit. I came home and I'm like, I deserve like this Popeyes and McDonald's.
And McDonald's.
You went down the deep end.
I did both.
You
Like,
failed hard.
I was at the victory. I was right there at the finish line, and then I jumped to the side, and I was just like, I'm good. I mean, I did most of the race, right?
Yeah, I basically won, right?
I basically won, but I didn't basically win because I totally fucked it up at the end.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Like, I guess like willpower kind of takes a lot of it. So by the time you're at the end of the week, like I was just so exhausted that I was just like, yeah, fuck it. I'm doing great. I feel like I'm rewarding myself by actually like failing more. So next week I'll try and not fall into that trap.
Well,
Yeah, I feel you about rewarding yourself is very important. But at the same time, you have to continually raise your standards for how and why you reward yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Once you've gotten a good amount of the NOS stuff under your belt, the stuff that you rewarded yourself with in week 1 might be like too many rewards for week 2 once you are good at this stuff, right? So you kind of have to like continually, if you were, giving yourself some reward, like, I'll, be able to get into this Netflix show if I can just finish this stuff right here. Week 2, you're going to be really good at finishing that stuff. And you're going to be binging a lot of Netflix if you continually keep rewarding yourself that way. So up your rewards, consistent with how you're upping your ability to stay on that challenge. It's my recommendation.
No, you're right. And not make any more self-destructive rewards because that's not really a reward.
I mean, that's also an interesting look at like finishing the job, like right at the end, like 99.9%, like the download is almost completed, and then you decide to end it.
No, you're
like,
right. A 99.9%
like, what is that itch? What is that thing?
Steve, you're about to.
Yeah, what I was gonna say was, I mean, maybe next time you feel inclined to reward yourself in that way of fast food or something that is contrary to your goals, is instead of go so excessive of getting Popeyes and McDonald's, you just get a McChicken, just one thing, and then you can kind of say, okay, this is the reward, but then you won't feel as bad about it later. It's like one McChicken won't kill you, but Popeyes and McDonald's at the same time, that's kind of undoing all that work.
That's beasting.
If you're gonna intentionally reward yourself, that's one thing, but I don't think you should unintentionally reward yourself. I don't think you should like crash the plane, like the plane barely lands, and you're like, all right, you know what? Let me get a scotch. like plan.
I get out of the wreckage and I'm like, that was a good flight. Like I gotta say,
if it's an intentional award, then that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? Like don't stumble upon a reward. Like
damn, you're right.
Rewards should be intentional, not convenient.
Yeah, but on the positive end, I also worked out every day last week.
Oh shit!
I was right back to my old workout. I have a very complicated workout plan. If you're interested in what it actually is, you can hit me up at @FrankAPM and I can actually go into it. But for right now, it's very complicated, but it makes sense to me. It's basically just like increasing my workout load every week, and I destroyed it this week. I'm really excited. I'm sore.
Nice.
I feel like I've lost some weight, but I'm not going to buy a scale yet. I will eventually, but I kind of just want my pant size to go down first, and then I'll check on that. But it's mostly positive, but I need to cut out that fast food. And for my last challenge, speak of more I work concerning social issues. As I mentioned last week, that's just me waiting around wishing a nigga would, which is not a productive means to do it. So I've decided to make it a woke thing every week. And actually, this week, I actually want to ask y'all a question.
Oh shit!
So I'm gonna go. So
y'all,
I'm gonna,
as in y'all boys.
I'm gonna ask y'all boys a question.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with one of you, and then there'll be one follow-up question, but I'm gonna get through all of you. So this is actually inspired by Max a couple weeks ago. So Steve, are you black?
Nope.
When did you find out you weren't black?
Well, I guess I found out how white I was in 6th grade when a girl said, "Hey, you're not white." And I mean, it's not exactly black, but it's the most, or it's at least Argentinian or Latino that I've ever felt up in that point where I realized, oh, that's right, people could mistake me for something that I'm not. So I don't think I've ever been close to being mistaken for black. But yeah, that's just my skin tone.
Yeah. Josh, are you black?
Hell yeah, bitch!
When did you find out?
I went to a white school when I was like really, really, really young. My family used to be like well off ish, and like I was just exposed to like bougie neighborhoods and shit. So I was like, man, this is. Oh no! Sorry, hold on. When I came from that and I went to public school for the first time, I realized, oh, I'm black. And I was around a bunch of other niggas. I was like, oh, okay.
Nice.
Max, are you black?
Yes.
When did you find out you were black?
What time is it? JK. I think I suspected it. The first time I suspected I could be black, I think I was 9 years old, and I was growing up in New York at the time. It was the day of the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and
Yes.
so I'm biracial, right? My mom is a Dominican of African descent. My dad is a Dominican of European descent, right? But when I was 9, I thought that everyone that had light skin and could speak Spanish was Puerto Rican. And everyone
in New York, you're not far off.
Yeah. Rule of thumb for, a 9-year-old in New York. And then everyone with dark skin that could speak Spanish was Dominican, right? That was just how I viewed the world as a 9-year-old, right? So it was the day of the Puerto Rican Day Parade. I was upset that I couldn't go. And then I was like, literally, I'm sad. I'm skulking around my house, right? And then my cousin's just like, Max, why are you so sad? I was like, it's the Puerto Rican Day Parade and I can't go. And they're like, Max, you're Dominican. And I was like, well, my dad's Puerto Rican. He's white and he can speak Spanish, right? First of all, everyone like fucking dies laughing, right? Because my dad is actually like hella Dominican, right?
Like basically that kind of Dominican.
Yeah. When he walks, those are the noises.
It's just steel drums the whole time.
Yeah. But then they broke it down to me how, Max, your dad is very Dominican and you're not Puerto Rican at all, so don't be sad about going to this parade, right? And then it was confirmed in high school when they asked me to fill out my race on a form.
You have to pick a side, yeah.
Yeah, you had to pick a side. So up until then, you could select like Latino as a race on any forms in Miami-Dade County Public Schools. And they realized when I was a senior in high school, or junior, I think, they had to reclassify all the Latinos because that is not a race. You shouldn't be able to select that as a race. So you could select your ethnicity as, Latino, but then you had to also select a race. And then no one had ever asked me what race I was, unless I was able to pick Latino. So I had to think about it, right?
Yeah.
And then I ended up putting Native American on the form. Because if you ask any Dominicans if they're black, they'll tell you they're Indio. You can't select black on a form in the Dominican Republic either, despite the overwhelming amount of black people in the Dominican Republic. So I asked my mom, and my mom told me she was Indio. That's where I get my melanin from. And I was like, oh, so we're like Indian, we're native, right? So that's what I selected on the form. But then I realized that, of course, that was just really a symptom of the anti-blackness in the Dominican Republic. And
Oh shit.
that melanin comes from Africa, and we're black, and we're not native. Like, the native population was wiped out from the Dominican Republic by like the early 1700s. So my melanin does not come from, there is native blood in my family, but our melanin comes from Africa, not from, there's much more recent African blood in my lineage than there is native blood. Because, colonialism.
Colonialism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and asking myself that question, am I black? Yes. When did I find out I was black? I found out I was black when I was 18 years old. I grew up, I'm Puerto Rican and Cuban. My mom's Puerto Rican, my dad's Cuban. My mom's very light-skinned, my dad's very dark-skinned. But very much like Max, growing up in New York, you see a bunch of different people, and you're like, oh, they're also just Latinos. Yeah. Because Latinos can basically look like everyone. Look, colonialism, y'all. Mm-hmm. And I was in New York, I was in Florida, and then if anything, I was really light skinned. So if anything, there was a girl in middle school who called me white, and I was just like, oh, because of the way I speak and the way like I care. I went to a private school for my first 5 years, but it's like a very like mixed like private school, and then all these places I just kept feeling like, oh yeah, because I'm really light skinned, that I would be treated basically like Michael Cera in Miami. I was treated like Michael Cera. But then in 2009 I moved to San Francisco, California. Then all of a sudden the demographics changed significantly, and all of a sudden I became Wesley Snipes. I went to a party with my roommate who's Adian Lewis, who does the music for us, and it hit me all at once. I looked around the party and I was just like, huh, that's weird. Like, Adian, are we the only black guys here? Like, it hit me very, very quick. I'm just like, oh, because I started feeling it. I started feeling it more than I had in my entire life, because I've always been Latino or this or that. So I would always call myself Latino. If I was in black, I'm like, I guess. I would say I guess. If someone called me black, I'm like, I guess I am. But I wouldn't like be upfront. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm black. I'd be like, I'm Latino. But since then, and then like learning how much my culture is infused, and doing the 23andMe, I'm 55% East African. There's no hiding that. And obviously, anyone who sees me off the street is like, oh, he's black. And I was just, it's incredible. Like, depending on where you are, it changes what you look like to other people and how you see yourself. So
yeah, light-skinned people have like contextual race.
We have contextual race, yeah. Like, depending on where we are, we could be one thing or the other. But because we're slightly ambiguous, it's what is it? It's like a puzzle. It's like the thing where you see the vase and the two faces.
A Rorschach.
Nope, that is not a Rorschach. No, it's a optical illusion.
Optical illusion.
Yeah. So light-skinned people are the optical illusions of race. But yeah, that's my woke shit this week, and hopefully got you a little bit thinking about yourself and like your place in the world. So Steve, how'd your challenges go this week?
So my challenges this week were to make music from Frank. Max challenged me to weight less, and then Josh asked me to journal every day. I'll start with the music. I installed GarageBand, and that's about it.
Progress.
Yeah.
Progress.
Yeah.
Took a step.
I installed it, and then it asked to download some like sound packs, and I was like, yes. And then that took about like
good answer
20 minutes because there was a lot of files. I was like, great, I'm making progress. And then once it was done, I shut down my computer because I had to go to sleep. So that was me making music.
So what's your score for that?
I'd say like 90 out of 100. Because no,
I mean, he downloaded it and downloaded the sound packs.
Yeah, I'd probably say like a 1 out of 7, just because I thought about it one day, but every other day of the week didn't cross my mind too much. I spent some time editing the podcast, which again, another tool I had to use for that was Adobe Audition, which I had to install, but I actually used it.
I would say that
And-
counts.
yeah.
Audio editing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll need that skill.
Yeah. So
Getting the reps in.
I guess you know what? I'll crank it up to a 3 out of 7.
Yeah.
For that. Yeah. Just because I'm feeling myself for all that
So
editing.
Steve knows how to make sounds from a computer is something that you
Yes,
achieved
that
this week.
I put it on my resume as soon as I hit save on that MP3 file.
Okay.
I'm a music maker.
What else you got?
So journaling, I did better last week, but still not as good as I could have. I think I hit 3 entries this week.
3 out of 7?
3 out of 7. Yeah.
Okay.
So alongside with journaling, I found this cool app called Dailyo. I installed it maybe 2 or 3 days ago, where all it is just an app that asks you how your mood is from 1 to 5, and then you can follow up with contextual data of activities you've been doing, either like cleaning or gaming, or it has like this huge list of stuff that you can just add yourself.
It's a straight up like mood tracker.
Yeah, it's a mood tracker, and you could either have it remind you at certain times of the day, or whenever you feel inclined to set your mood of, you know, the end of day or whatever. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It keeps data, and then after some time you can kind of see your high points and low points, the activities that you enjoy doing, things that you don't, and yeah, it really quantifies a lot of interesting data points that, you know, you can collect just from a very simple maybe 10-15 second interaction of tapping a happy face and then like some other little icons to describe your day.
I'm always trying to tap me a happy face.
Don't do that.
I don't even know what that means.
No, I don't think
whatever it is, it sounds
It's gross.
it sounds-
Yeah,
It's
let's-
sneezy.
And
yeah.
shockingly, Steve, you've left do less waiting for last.
Oh yeah, see, I did that poorly this week by that example alone. So I don't have any major things coming up, or like in the past week anyway, and nothing that really needs, I guess, immediate action or
Because you did it all already.
inaction.
It's all done.
There's nothing in the queue because you already did it.
Yeah, 7
When
out
you
of
wait
7.
less, you
Yeah.
have less to wait on.
There you go. It's a symptom of waiting less.
Yeah, I guess I just need to get used
You're
to
collecting the loot.
being so
You're
speedy.
collecting the loot from your victory.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
being caught
so
up.
yeah, those were my challenges. How about
Wait, so I have a question though.
Oh
Oh,
shit, he's got questions.
Stakes seem to be something that occurred last week that bled into this week a little bit.
stakes?
Stakes.
Bleeding
What
stakes.
is it that is inhibiting those numbers from going up?
Oh yeah, the journaling. Why 3 out of 7? And also wanted to follow up on that. What hours? Well, at least what time of day are you putting towards the journaling? Is it like an end of day thing? Are you waking up and putting straight dream shit on there? Straight dream shit on there. Is it
Steve's
2 o'clock in the
dream mixtape.
afternoon at the office and you're like, maybe I'll just throw some stuff in there? Like,
So I've been journaling on my train rides to work, where it's anywhere between 40 minutes to an hour of just free time. Honestly, it's a really good time just to unplug from everything. The only bad thing about physically writing on the train is that it's super shaky, so I have to be a bit more steady with how I do things. But yeah, that's been like the good and bad about the journaling, because on the same time, when I'm going to work, there might be a day where I'm like, I have to catch up on something else, so then I'll do the catch up work on the train ride, but then I won't journal, and then all my thoughts and whatever is like kind of hot on my mind isn't quite there anymore. Even if I'm like on the way back, then it's a totally different context. Plus, I don't take the train when on the weekends because I'm just not going to work. So I think I just need to probably find a more consistent place to write. I think the best place for me to do that would probably be just be in my bedroom before going to sleep, because I do that, you know, every single day except the days that I may be on vacation, and even then I go to places with beds and rooms, and so
Good
you
call,
go to places
man,
with
yeah.
beds and rooms.
Yeah.
So that's for next week.
Yeah,
them
starting
journal
starting today, I could start writing at the end of day.
Okay, that's gonna be your remedy.
Yeah, that's my remedy.
Santana.
Yeah, I got 3 challenges.
You do?
Steve challenged me to get 3 people to use the Best Lives model. Josh challenged me to see a therapist. And Frank challenged me to write the first 60 pages of my Great American Novel.
Great American Novel.
Great America in a novel. Let's talk about that one first. So this week, I wrote 3 pages.
Woo! Oh,
shit! Something that might get into a novel. So,
okay.
That's like 5%.
Right, I'm 1/20th of the way there.
Damn, son.
To that goal. So, had a lot of time. I wrote mostly on an airplane this week when I was coming back from New York, and that was a wonderful time. Like, I just had some music in, and nobody bothered me. I had an aisle seat, so I could get up and go whenever I wanted to, and then knock
That's like
down.
first class in this row formation. That's like the first class of the 3 seats.
Yeah, it's business class, first class. So I was very excited about writing that. It was mostly about this. It was my main character describing like where he learned how to use computers, which is very similar to me. It's like picking up spare computer parts from my dad's office. And this guy in the novel, this guy's dad worked at the Coast Guard, had a bunch of like secret access to computer parts, and he's always like picking things up that his dad left behind to make some crazy stuff. So that was fun.
Okay, I see you.
Thank you.
I'm excited.
And next challenge was from Steve to get 3 people to use the Best Lives model. This week I made a little bit of progress. I did a number of branding exercises at work for my specific team, which is always kind of fun. I'm a very big picture person, so when people are talking about like, year-end goals and what are the values of the team and how do we live and breathe those every day, some people find that stuff boring to no end, but I eat that shit up. And
hey, we already know words get you going, man.
Words get you going, right? So we were doing an exercise that I thought could be very useful to a lot of people that want to brand themselves, and I started integrating that and creating some documentation for putting that into Best Lives. On top of that, I got a tagline now.
Ooh.
Yeah, Best Lives.
World premiere?
Personal branding for everyone. That's it.
Oh.
That's it. It's
okay.
The idea there, of course.
It's a socialism brand.
Not specifically.
Yeah.
It's not a red sickle and hammer. Don't have that part just yet. But no, the idea that like everyone should have like a very specific intentional online presence. And when I say everyone, I'm talking about the dishwasher at Denny's. I'm talking about the CEO at the Fortune 500 company. I'm talking about the janitor. I'm talking about the accountant. I'm talking about everybody.
I would watch the dishwasher at Denny's Twitch stream.
Yeah.
Want to know like his tips and tricks.
Now you ain't got beef with Twitch streamers?
Look, man, things have changed. Times have changed. Started following a couple Twitch. It's actually pretty rad. It's TV, guys.
Welcome, Frank.
It's television.
Oh yeah,
It's-
welcome to
Yeah. I call it like the perpetual little brother simulator. You can just watch other people play video games.
Yeah. I mean, there's that, and also if you guys watched a film, which I highly recommend, called We Live in Public. It's a documentary about this guy who did this experiment in New York where a bunch of people lived in a bunker and everyone was under surveillance the entire time. You could watch everyone's TV, but you're also on TV the entire time.
Yeah.
And how it affects people's psyches over the course of time. This is in the 90s. It's highly recommended, but it's scary as shit. Also, Max, while you're writing this book, finish reading The Circle. I gave you that book.
You did.
Ages ago.
It's pretty enthralling, yeah.
It's good, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It'd also be good to read a novel while you're writing a novel.
I can't imagine, but I'll
That
try
shit's
it.
fire.
And my last challenge was to see a therapist. I can tell you guys, I won a $50 gift certificate to therapy.
stars aligned.
Were you on like The Price is Right or some shit?
I'll tell you where I was. Therapy is the name of a bar in New York. And there was.
Oh my god! Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm so serious. And
I get a text from this nigga talking about I want a gift card to therapy, and I'm I'm singing you praises of mental health and bitches
Yeah,
a bar.
wait a minute. Yeah, because you told us you got this $50 for therapy, but wait.
That's what can you imagine how I felt learning that?
Oh, God.
How
damn
elated.
it.
Because the first thing I thought about was how useful that would be for my goals, of course. And then I opened up the certificate. I'm like, which therapist can I use this at? Like, who's going to accept this? And the address is to a bar called Therapy. It's very
Oh my
Yeah.
god! I thought you bamboozled us.
Yeah, I think I did, but
You got swindled.
I was at a drag show at that bar, and then I got called up on stage because my coworkers told them it was my birthday. It wasn't. And all you had to do was you had to listen to like 5 seconds of a song and either name the song or challenge the other person to name the song.
Isn't that like Beat Shazam? Like the game show Beat Shazam?
That sounds like it would be, yeah.
All right, yeah.
So we just did that, and then I won, and then you get 2 free drink tickets if you win. Or a mystery prize. And then I obviously opted for the mystery prize.
Man. Go all in. Put them chips in there,
Yo,
bro.
mystery prizes are here to fucking miss, man.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually hit one of the really good ones. So, which was the $50 gift certificate for therapy.
For
bar.
that bar that's across the country from you currently.
Yes, yeah, the bar that's 2,000 miles from you right now.
Got it.
Great.
Well, then, what progress did you make with actual?
Did your actual?
Oh, okay. In that regard, I said I was gonna ask myself and really think hard about what do I want from therapy, and this week I made some pretty good progress to that. And I realized, like, when I think of therapy, I think of things I saw in like TV and movies, which is, you know, hey doc, somebody rolls into their office, they speak all their shit out there, and then the therapist, you know, validates their feelings or tells them about it. But I realize I always watch people when I'm watching those things, it's always somebody like in crisis mode, someone that desperately needs a therapist immediately. And not everyone has those kind of mental health needs, right? So I'm just getting more comfortable with the idea, like, you can visit a therapist once a month. You can visit a therapist once a quarter. You can visit a therapist only when necessary. You don't need to always be in a place where I have to go and spill my thoughts out every single week or 3 times a week to a therapist. So, yeah, I'm realizing that what I want from therapy is not a comprehensive, like, mental health overhaul type thing. I'm doing pretty good. I need like a mental health physical. That's what I want from a therapist, right? So I need to schedule something that can fall in line with those needs, and it's not going to be this crazy, like, you know, 5 times a week type thing.
Well, so did you schedule an appointment?
No, I didn't
But
make.
you thought about what the purpose behind it was.
Yes, and I think for me that's step 1.
Well, that is what you said you were gonna do last week. So
yeah, that's what I said I was going to do, and I guess this week I can take a step further and find a therapist who can fit those needs for me now that I know what my needs are.
Well, I mean, I think you're just gonna have to go to a therapist. You don't have to
Yeah.
look for a therapist. A one-off therapist
I
that
think-
specializes in one-off.
Right. As soon as I realized that, I realized every therapist could meet those needs too. Not a very specific need at all. So,
Okay. Excited to hear about your appointment next week.
yeah, I'm excited to hear about that too.
All right, Josh, what you got?
Well, my challenge checkup this week was good. My challenges were make music, bonus points if it's for a banjo, maintain a consistent workout schedule, and be very mindful of my budget and finances and craft a budget for weekly consumption.
And before you start, Josh, how many times did you have Uber Eats last week?
0.
Okay,
Hey.
I like it already.
Yeah. So, regarding my consistent workout schedule, I said last week it was consistent because I went once first week, and I went once the next week. So then last week I went twice.
Okay.
So this week I went twice. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, we
1-1,
know what you're saying.
Yeah, we
but-
do know what you're
and
saying.
then 3-3. So that's been. So this week I went twice.
Okay.
Primarily, the second time was right before we recorded this podcast.
Ooh, sneaking into the buzzer.
Hey,
I see.
getting it in, man.
There's a note I want to comment on that. I got to tell you, having to face the court of podcast at the end of the week it added some pressure, man. I was like, I can't not go.
Raise the
Like,
stakes.
because it makes for bad content. If I'm like, I slacked.
Or it's great content. We just have 12
we can
weeks
just roast
of
you.
Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right.
But yeah, that really helped. So I went twice this week, and next week I'm gonna go 3 times. And also next week, Gino offered to give me 1 free session, and he's gonna teach me a baseline of aerobics and whatnot to do. And I'm going to then carry that on to myself. He said, just do these things. That's all you have to do, and we'll switch it up after a couple weeks. So I'm gonna have a consistent routine that I'm gonna work on, and next week will be 3, and I think I'm gonna chill with 3 for a bit, and then ease into like 4 a week.
I'm looking forward to hearing it, and I love that you have that support system right there that can really
down the hall.
Yes,
down the hall,
guide you.
Regarding my music, I looked at my banjo again.
God damn,
3 weeks in a row. This is
3.
It's a good looking banjo.
Oh, hold on, there's more.
But I also scheduled an appointment for my first banjo lesson.
Woo!
Okay.
Yes.
So next week I'm gonna have my first banjo class. It's gonna be for an hour, and the guy is like super eclectic and interesting, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna do some theory, we're gonna do some style stuff, and I'm gonna show you some technique. I was like,
yeah, nigga, if you fucking walk out of that, it's like, I looked at the banjo. We thought about it more. I had to write a 3-page essay about the banjo.
Unless lesson 1 is like, all right, guys, we're gonna look at this banjo.
Next week episode, like, so Josh, how was it? We looked at the banjo.
We're gonna get so upset.
But I am going to get into it tonight, because there's a little something I'm cooking up for the podcast that I'm gonna make. So that's gonna be my first major effort for that.
Nice.
Regarding my finances, this week I was not bad. I got my cash card.
Wonderful.
And I put all my fun money on my cash card. But then I realized that I kind of was just getting into the habit of just sending money to my cash card.
You should limit how much time you send money to your cash card.
That's the next layer. But I will say a lot of it just went to getting food to like eat, like for myself. But like once I'm in the grocery store, I'm like, well, I'll just get this. Well, I'll just get that. I'll also get that. So I fell into that habit a couple times where I'm like, no, go out there and get what you need and get the fuck out of there. So that happened a bit. And I only think I ate out like once or twice this week, which wasn't too bad. However, I still have not maintained a weekly detailed budget. I have acknowledged that, and I'm going to write a weekly detailed budget this week.
Just crack open that Excel sheet right now. I can start throwing shit together.
Yes. So that is that. But I'm looking forward to next week to building upon my challenges.
Nice.
On that note, that is our challenge checkup. That is how we did. Hopefully you got some insight on how we've bettered ourselves, and you can apply something to better yourselves. With that being said, we're going to take one last break, and we'll be right back.
It's such a beautiful day outside.
It really is. Open the window while we play this video game.
Hey, kids! You wanna know what's better than a video game?
Oh my god, who the fuck are you?
I'm Outdoor Guy!
Why do you smell so bad?
Did you kids say you were gonna play a video game?
Yeah, it's this free-to-play game where you and 99 other people...
That's it? Outside, there are over 7 billion players and counting!
What?
And outside, you have the ultimate sensory experience, where you literally use every part of your body to succeed!
Going outside is not responsible for depression, anxiety, or any existential dread. Prolonged exposure outside may lead to hypothermia, heat stroke, and drowning.
And we are back. For our final segment, we have Thorn, Rose, Bud.
Oh, I got my rose, I got my bud, I got my thorn. Here is the rose and thorn and the bud of the week. I got my rose and my thorn
are gratitude fanatics and love to give honor to the week by honoring our rose, which is something awesome that happened this week that we're grateful for, our thorn, which is something that was a little bit of a thorn on our side, and lastly, our bud, something we're looking forward to next week. Steve, why don't you start us off?
So my thorn wasn't much of a thorn, just a minor inconvenience to my wants and desires. This robotic arm Kickstarter project that seems super cool, super awesome, but also really unreliable. And I had all these ideas. Yeah, I mean, it's like a pen holder. It can hold a laser. It could play chess. It could do all these cool things, but it's like $500 from this unknown company and just way too risky.
For all your chess tournaments?
Yeah, all my chess tournaments. And yeah, it seems really cool and something I would love to have, but not worth taking the risk on that. My rose was last night I entered a Smash tournament just for teams, and I technically won, which is crazy because I never placed in the money. Me and my friend, we got up to winners finals, and it was running really late, so then we just talked to the other guys. It's like, hey, do you guys just want to split the pot 50-50? And I made $28 from playing Smash, so I'm a professional at this point.
No longer amateur.
No longer amateur. I mean, this is the second tournament I've won through Smash or through teams, and it was also at Berkeley, so I think I just have a good streak going there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of a big deal, but not honestly, not really. It might actually, now that I think about it, to casual players or just people who aren't competitive. I'm being very sarcastic. This is like it was maybe like 8 entrants. It's not that it's not that deep. And a bud is Game of Thrones. I've been asleep on that show for many years.
Oh yes. Man,
Celeste has put me down on it, and we were up until I think 3 a.m. yesterday. We watched 4 episodes on season 7, and
geez, you're almost there.
Yeah, this season it's crazy. So we're probably gonna finish it, and I'm really excited to see how it wraps up, and then I'll be caught up for season 8.
April. And, bro, I talked so much shit about Game of Thrones at the beginning. Like, I used to be like, yeah, Game of Thrones, this is great, and then I watched like 4 seasons like back to back to back, and I realized like, okay, they know what they're talking about. And the fact that this April we're gonna get the final conclusion to all of this.
Wait, are you caught up too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Bro, I've been watching week to week for years now.
Okay.
So good.
I don't understand why anyone watches Game of Thrones alone. I've only known people to enjoy it if they're watching it with someone they're romantically interested in.
I mean, it helps.
Yeah.
I mean that doesn't.
Hold on. You know what? Never mind.
Yeah, we'll get into it later.
All right.
Cool. Frank, what you got for us?
So, my thorn this week could be my thorn for really any week. But this week particularly was LA traffic, y'all. So look, LA gets a bad rap for their traffic, and I'm here to tell you that it's deserved. It's an absolute deserved. I live my office moved. I'll be part of my rose. I was 16 miles away from the office. I now live 13 miles away from the office. But the fact that it still takes 45 minutes for me to get to my job, that's only 13 miles away, is absurd. And should not be taken lightly from anyone on any other fucking city or planet or whatever. It's absolutely terrible. And this Thursday, I had a dentist appointment early on in the morning, and I ended up being a half hour late to that, an hour late to work, and the whole time I had to pee.
Oh, God.
So, like, American Horror Story Apocalypse has this thing
That's
where each character has their own personal hell. My personal hell is being in LA traffic late and having to pee, and there's nowhere to pee because they don't have like public bathrooms for people. They're just like, I don't know about that. You might do drugs. I'm like, I have to pee. So I had to zoom around, like go into like random neighborhoods. I ended up like seeing which house had like, what I assumed to be the least amount of security. Go into their garden in a corner and pee.
You did that?
Wow.
Yup.
You peed in someone's garden?
Wow,
so
Frank.
I'm sorry, whoever that garden is, but it's LA's fault for not having any fucking public bathrooms.
Oh, you're gonna blame LA, Frank. It sounds like you were someone else's thorn, someone else's rose, someone else's bud.
Someone showed up in and peed in their garden. Hey, it was gonna happen. It was gonna happen in my car.
Frank wants to change the system. All right, Frank wants
fucking
to change
system.
the system.
My rose this week is that we finally moved. I had brought it up a couple weeks ago, but we finally moved to our new office. It's super sick. It's massive. Like, it has huge hallways. I didn't get an office, but I do have a very big space of which I can manipulate a lot of, and I'm really excited to kind of get into that. And yeah, I just dig it. It's wonderful. And my bud is so I've already felt the weight loss occurring.
Ooh.
Draw my few things, but I'm gonna buy a scale this week to actually track it, and then hopefully I'll be giving you guys like numbers here on out on the podcast. But
Scale.
Oh, wait.
What is a scale compared to numbers? Oh, okay. I thought it was a scale for measuring
You don't
scales.
want your scale to weigh too much, otherwise, how's it gonna get accurate readings?
Right. How much does the Richter scale weigh, Frank? FYI.
You know, 25 kilograms.
Ooh, okay.
On a good day before breakfast.
Max, what you got for us?
I got 3 things for you guys. Number 1, I got a thorn, which is my left wrist is still sprained.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I haven't been able to go to the rock gym. I've been doing just upper body workouts at home, but I have not been able to take advantage of my gym membership, which really sucks. Silver lining, since my body is broken, I now have a excuse to go to a doctor.
You're not immortal. Look at
I
that.
am not immortal. Is also something I was looking to learn this week, and hey, got it. My rose is that I did win that $50 gift certificate. Was a pleasant surprise. Not that I can use it, but hey, if any of y'all boys are going to New York anytime soon, you let me know.
Actually, I'm going in 2 weeks.
Look at that.
Oh, sure. You can give a $50 gift card for
Hey,
therapy.
can you mail me that?
I definitely could. It's a piece of paper.
That's my nigga.
And my bud is that I was able to contain a lot of my routines, even though I was on a work trip, which typically is something that fucks me up. So a lot of the pages I wrote maybe 2 of the 3 pages in my hotel room. So I've never done that before. Very excited to be able to do that. And a lot of the Best Live stuff, I also started to put it into the system in that hotel room. So I'm just getting much more comfortable with saying, hey guys, thank you for inviting me out, but I have other things I need to do while I'm visiting out here. So yeah, I did pretty well with that. Historically, systemically, that has been something that's been tripping me up for quite some time. So happy to start that trend.
But you're making your space for your way to the top. You can't get to the top if you don't make space for it. And the fact that you made for it on your vacation, that's excellent progress.
Yes.
Excellent progress.
Josh, what have you been doing?
My thorn this week was that my car battery coughed on me. It was the first event in my car having experience.
Is that?
I started. I had a great night with a friend out on the town.
Yeah.
And I came back to my car, which was left parked at my job, and I started it, and it was like, and it just didn't start. But thankfully, I have a very knowledgeable younger brother who knows way more about cars than I do, and he helped me out and got that settled up real quick. But it still was kind of annoying because #unexpected expenses are not cool. Mm-hmm. My rose this week was I had a work meeting this week, and it was kind of cool just being a part of a job. And, like, being a part of a team and, like, goals and, sharing space in a group of people in the same work environment. It was dope. I appreciated it. My coworkers are awesome, and I just really appreciated having awesome jobs that, like, are super flexible and, help me pay my bills, And last but not least, my bud is the Miami International Film Festival is next week. Shout out to Jay. It's going to be awesome. I'm just going to spend 10 days watching movies and getting hammered. I'm very excited. On that note, that is this week's episode of Y'all Boys Talkin'. Podcast about nonsensical improvement. We shall see you next week. We hope you have an amazing, productive week to the top. Bye, y'all.
We got a couple shout outs that we want to give. Shout out to Gino Music for making the theme song. The song is called Won't Stop. Eddie and Lewis for making the interstitial music and giving us the good vibes. Follow along with our challenges at y'allboystalkin.com. Subscribe to us via iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and SoundCloud. Also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Y'all Boys Talkin'. New episodes every week.